should be live. See if we can see the chat.
Someone's been in that chat.
Yeah, there's a bit of action, isn't it? I've got 18 notifications. But for whatever reason, I can't see them. Interesting.
Always fun when that happens. I can see stream chat, I think, somewhere. Where was it? Yeah, I can see here. J-Vic, Welsh Weeder, Perry.
Oh, the boys are in.
What about me? I'm in there.
SimplyAlex, there he is. Perry, SimplyAlex, Welsh Weeder. It's a wee chat on the go.
I can't even see the chat, but it is what it is. Yeah, you can be in control of the chat today, Quinny.
Good luck.
Big responsibilities. Yeah, guys, welcome to game week 282's live stream lineup builder. Myself, SimplyAlex, and Quinny in the building. Little trio today. How are we doing, lads?
Good, man. Looking forward to some football this weekend.
Yeah, going well.
You got many teams this weekend, up?
Yeah, I do. I've got like five, six.
Jesus.
Okay. After selling all of my American players, or trying to. I obviously kept a couple of under 23s, maybe a few Celtic collectible ones, and just like low value cards. And I think I've got 16. Oh, it says I've got. Oh, that's a live one. God, how embarrassing. Yeah, 6 teams. It says one's a common team, so 5. Yeah, not sure how many have a chance of winning. The under 23s, obviously, but yeah.
When did you get stuck into all the sort of Asians and South Americans and stuff, or haven't you?
So like March, April, I'd kitted out under 23. I'd kitted out champ, loads of like leftovers for All Star, and I was like, next options, Asia and America. And then, I don't have great knowledge of them and all the rest of it. I had a River Plate stack. That obviously does great, but it was mainly under 23s, wasn't it? And then I was like, right, prices are so low. American cards doing all right. I'm just going to sell off all the big guns, including the River Plate stack, and just go hard for next season. And that's pretty much where we're at, except for last Sunday, I was making a big trade deal for a card I wanted. And he just picked out a rare card out of my gallery, which I was like, I don't really want to get rid of him. And then he was like, I'll chuck an Enzo Fernandez. And I was missing Enzo so much because he had won like 10 times his value before I'd sold him for me, because I was trying to sell the top. And then, I sold him with the fear he moves champion Europe or anywhere really and just gets screwed. And then when he's, heavily linked with Benfica, I was like, little downside. So yeah, that's where I'm at the moment.
Okay, fair enough. Quindog, how was your weekend?
Last week I didn't really do too well, to be honest with you. Unfortunately, just a few guys didn't start. That under 23 team had a DNP in it, which was an absolute kick in the teeth. And I missed two DNPs, caught me bad. But I, like Alex, I've got 6 teams going out this game week, and I'm pretty buzzing for, like, I don't know, I think all of them, or maybe 5 of them have got a case to be doing something, but it really depends on how big the big scores are. I think the way the SO5 leaderboards have been looking over the last couple of weeks, like if River hit big, if New York hit big, if some of these teams run away with lots of hundreds or 80 pluses in their team, then all the other kind of characters that most of us run about with most of the time, they're, even if they hit off big and drop in 72, then it could be one of those situations. With these game weeks, it can be the situation where you can still get like a really good score and end up in a crap prize pool or no prize pool, because there's not really that many rewards now, because it is only the non-EU stuff that's running. So it can be. So I'm hopeful, but I'm also prepared to be frustrated that I got 390 and didn't get nothing. Or it's going to be one of those ones, I think.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the prize pools aren't as lucrative as they are when obviously the European season's, knocking around. But like you said, there's still scope to win things, but you do have to avoid all DMPs at all costs, which isn't easy with, well, as I've found even with like MLS players, where I think they're like nailed on, and Pablo Ruiz for me last weekend was a killer. But they're just so out of your control. Like those things are just near enough impossible to sort of foresee happening, or account for, So like, I can't like be too harsh on myself in that sense. Like those ones are just completely out of your control.
Didn't you just win the division and you're talking about how hard it is and avoid
different division? This was a higher division.
Like 2 months or like a decent one, and you're like, yeah, it's really tough. Only won Division 2 last week.
Well, I mean, that was Division 3 that I was referring to, but yeah, I got super lucky with D2 this past weekend. Probably not too lucky with the prize I won, but I'm still gonna take a W, my second ever win, 3rd podium, which was nice.
Beautiful.
So yeah, I've hit another little. Hopefully, this sort of kicks off a nice little patch of like a little streak for me. I feel like that's how I've experienced my wins before. They come in little streaks, little patches. I'll go cold for a couple months for whatever reason, and then it just seems to just hit. And yeah, hopefully we can get amongst the prizes again this week or this weekend. Do you want to both you guys request to show your like screens if you want, so we can see your lineups? We don't have to do it right now, but just in preparation.
First.
What'd you say, mate?
Gonna have to hide some stuff first, aren't I?
That's fine. Yeah, no rush. It's just so it's ready on the side. But yeah, if people are wondering, well, one thing, I can't even see the chat, guys. So if you are going to say something, Quinny or Alex are going to have to tell me, because I can't, for whatever reason, it won't show me the chat. So that's a bit annoying. So sorry for that. And then secondly, I'm in different headquarters right now. My Wi-Fi in my house is normally dodgy on the best of days, but today it is completely just gone. Somebody's chopped down a few trees close to our house and it's cut a power line. I don't know what to say. Yeah, just complete freak incident, I guess. But yeah, I've made it happen. I've gone to a friend's house close by, and yeah, he's luckily rented me his room for the next hour. So yeah, or loan me his room. But yeah, we're here, and yeah, I mean, the topic of the video as well as doing the lineup builder is Sorare worth playing in 2022 from like sort of this point onwards? It's a bit of an open-ended question. I've got a few sort of talking points that maybe we can sort of go down, but has anyone got anything to sort of just kick us off with? Like, have you got like a yes or a big no? I'm sure there's not going to be any no's, but you know what I'm saying? Like, yes, and then it's like, well, why is it yes? Maybe is what I would sort of ask. You know, no pressure with length of answer, but yeah, Al, if you want to kick us off.
Yeah, I'll jump in. Yes, definitely worth playing. It is so fun and addictive. Like last weekend, I had that little child joy back again. I was thinking like months on end, like who's going to slot into my under 23 slot in midfield. I had so many options, you know, limited budget. I could pretty much buy who I wanted, but I'm not a guy that likes overspending. I'm not a Kimmich, Haaland, Mbappe guy, even though could condense and buy them. And then it eventually came to me, at least an idea, which I loved. Finished all the teams. I went out and made like graphics of all my teams so I could like share them with people, you know, maybe make a little video on it. And like when we're down the line, it's settled. And I couldn't sleep because I was so excited to play the team. Wow. And I was like it is cringy at the same time, but I was just like so buzzing to get that team out. And like, you know, the tinkering and like being involved in transfers and like the knowing people that you don't expect to know. Like a good one is like Vinicius Souza. So I'm talking like my Celtic fans over here, and they're like never heard of him. I'm like, he's unreal. Like, look at these stats, look at these numbers. Like, you know, there's so many benefits to Sorare without even mentioning like the money side, which obviously more people join, fixed amount of supply. You'd hope to make money if you're, you know, better than 50% of the game, 50% of the players play the game. So yeah, that's my answer. Play.
Yeah, and I guess entertainment value then can be this little segment in terms of what you've kind of just explained, Quinny, in terms of entertainment value. How sort of high do you rank that in the reason why somebody should play for the next 6 months to a year?
Well, it's basically the only reason for playing the game for me in that sense. You know, it's about football. You know, it's about what actually happens on the pitch, and like it's in my experience, the people that definitely enjoy playing Sorare the most are the people that, you know, should play it, if you like, are the people that are doing at least like 20% of what a Sorare manager does anyway, in terms of like you follow certain accounts on Twitter and you like hearing about these wee wonder kids and do you know the odd time you can't sleep at night, you stuck on Sky Sports and it could have been anything that was on a rerun of a game from the 90s, or that kind of stuff is like anywhere near your recreation, then this is the sort of game that really kind of connects you and plugs you in with that a bit more deeper, like Alex is saying as well, because you get to know the characters that are emerging in the game, and I'll be recording a thing with Hendo tomorrow where we're talking about this in a bit more detail, but like the way scouting is like evolved in the world as well, and what metrics are important in the modern game and all this kind of stuff, that it's the bragging rights down the pub for knowing, Vinicius Souza, I know, I played for Mechlin, I plays number 6, it's a star, let me tell you. That's social credit out the hoo-ha, is, in terms of like, rubbing shoulders in the pub and all that caper, or in group chats with your mates. And that's what FIP is about primarily, is this wherever you get up to with your pals and other fans of the team that you support or whatever.
Yeah, man. I completely agree with everything you guys said there. I just think like it just intensifies, like you said, what we already do. You said 20%, like 20% of what we do, people normally do, but we just probably go in 100% of the time. You know what I'm saying? Like we just amplify it probably like fivefold. As in we know, like where normally you probably know everything about your club. Now it's like, well, you have to know everything about 10 to 15, 20 clubs. In terms of the guys you have in your gallery and stuff. And I think it takes a certain type of like football fan to want to do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's so many within football. I think there's so many different types of fans. You know what I'm saying? Like some people like it's more just the social side of things, which is completely fine. I completely get that. Go down the pub, watch their team play, go to the actual game, watch the team play. Don't really care about like the ins and outs of statistics and data. Like I think it's more of like a new age fan that this would really apply to. I know you've got to kind of know about crypto and there's other like things to it, but ultimately it's kind of like a hybrid type of situation where it can kind of draw in your FIFA fans. It can kind of draw in your Football Manager fan. Like it has to be something data driven, I think, because otherwise, if you've not got like, I'm no like data analyst. Like I'm not really into stats that much. We kind of have to be for Sorare, but ultimately, I'm not making spreadsheets 24/7. Finding XGs of players. Like I'm somebody that likes watching my players play. I like seeing talents emerge and sort of betting on them early, and hopefully one day they get a starting position in the team. Like there's loads of ways to play the game, but ultimately the entertainment value that it brings, we haven't even mentioned the whole like meetups and the friends that we've made through this. You know what I'm saying? Like that is something that if you're just a football fan of your club, you're only going to become friends with the guys that do the same thing, where this is like so expansive. So it's worldwide. It's just like, there's just nothing really like it. I don't really think.
Agreed.
Nailed it.
There's not really.
I'm sitting ready to go.
I've got my.
You got the chat.
So I can see the chat. Pushing Quirks in the building. Welsh Weeder, Gillard. Gillard said you learn about. What's this? Learn about youngsters who are coming through, and there's players that I've watched you to Sorare that make me think that they could be in a better team. Yeah, so I guess it's just the scouting element of things. Okay, how big is the World Cup going to be for this next sort of 6 months leading up? Well, how big is this? How big is the impact of the World Cup in terms of Sorare itself? Like, does Sorare need to capitalize on it big time? I don't know if Alex was on when the Euros was on. I think you were. Were you on Sorare when the Euros? Yeah. I think there was missed opportunities there. Quinny will probably agree with me. Do we fear that there's going to be like a repeat of that, or do we think that they're going to really do something? Is what I'm going to get at.
I kind of got the vibe when the Euros was on, that because Euros was delayed and like we kind of knew like it's going to be the Euros one summer and then World Cup. Also, it's not in the summer, but the kind of following period. That when they did on board like France, Belgium, and was there someone else? Was there 3 countries or 2? France and Belgium. Germany. Yeah. It was almost like a little kind of run up, And we were all talking about at the time, oh, this will give them plenty of time to onboard like the primary like 20 nations that will probably be at the World Cup. So by the time the World Cup comes, we can all definitely have access to squads and whatever. That's obviously nowhere near happened. So I think from a marketing perspective, like for them to really push themselves out there and be seen by as many eyes as possible from them as an internal company perspective, they have to be involved in the World Cup in some way, shape or form. I don't think that's optional because it's going to be the biggest, commercially, everyone now probably for the rest of our lives will become the biggest commercial World Cup ever. This one in Qatar is going to be massive, and even though it's got all the negative press around it, it's still mega press, And then the next one obviously is North America, and then the next one after that's probably Europe, maybe Asia again or something. So it's always going to get bigger and bigger, and by missing the boat, you miss it for 4 years, or 3.5 kind of in this case, So if you don't catch this World Cup, you're then waiting for America in 2026, and that's something you'd rather not miss out on completely. So I think it's important.
Yeah, I would say the World Cup's as big as Sorare make it, really. Like, missed opportunity with the Euros, but, it was a different beast at the time, like financially, staffing, probably bigger problems to focus on. And they did bits, right? Like small bits. Like we had those little fan events. I think we started with Ukraine, switched to Turkey to Ukraine, something like that. They were fun, but they run the risk of if it is like it is now, if Sorare is like it is now, and when the World Cup arrives, it's just going to be like a whale game to me. It's tough to get teams out on smaller budgets, limited selections. Try play the U23s, right? There's probably one goalkeeper that can play, and he's a doubt anyway. He's 50-50. Having a larger gallery is just going to help you so much, and it's not. They need to, for that. In my eyes, they need to make the game weeks align with like the FIFA game weeks, if that makes sense, because they put all like game rounds, and do a little bit more. So special freak leagues where you just play free players, stuff like that. Fine, absolutely all for it. Like let's go beyond Sorare, like SO5, and I'm not talking SO7, SO8, SO11. I'm talking like let's back a nation. That nation gives you a 5% bonus. If you own a player from that, you get an extra one. There's so many people smarter than me in the Sorare office that can do that. And I really hope they have a strategy for it. Because if they rock up two weeks earlier, drop a couple Germany cards, Netherlands cards, not Italy cards, a couple of cards, it's just not going to give me that buzz. And like, I'll probably do quite well. Like I've got good depth, but it just won't give me the excitement compared to like the rest of the world. This is the biggest thing in football. Like we all know the World Cup's the biggest event. Like, come on, let's capitalize on it,
Yeah. Do you think they could do something in terms of onboarding where like it's going to really ramp up like new users wanting to join the platform for whatever reason around that time? Like what can they really do to the free-to-play version to where like my friend go, like I need to sign up now because they're doing that World Cup thing on. Like, do you think there's something that they can do? You know what I'm saying? Like to where it really it just makes like somebody that's not on the platform want to join the platform and play a free-to-play little tournament. Like they like you said, like pick a team, and if they go to the final, you get. You know what I'm saying? There has to be something that they can do.
There's so many things. Like I didn't even think of the free-to-play model, right? The problem with not the problem with the free-to-play model. The best thing about it is they're redesigning it. They know that, they spoke about it. It's already part of the way there. So that will be big. The thing which I'm thinking depends on that is whether the Premier League comes. Because if the Premier League comes, they already have their massive opportunity to onboard people to become a household name. And Sorare is not for everyone, right? Like all football fans, it's not for all of them. A lot of time, a lot of effort. So it's only for like a certain amount of people. If that's already happened with the Premier League, there's less opportunities for the World Cup. If the Premier League hasn't happened, the World Cup becomes huge, right? If you can't get the Premier League, let's onboard England, right? That's going to cover most of the household names that people want. And then, from there, it's what you make of it. Like, think how many people play like the predictor for the World Cup, where you just guess which team goes through each group, right? Takes half an hour, but it's just fun to do. How many people are in sweepstakes at work and stuff just to have that buzz, right? We need something like that, like you're saying, like a free to play. How easy is it to do? I don't know. It's a lot of marketing. It's good budget. You need a budget for it, but is it worth it? Probably. Like, let's get free to play model that's easy to understand. Everyone has the same amount of cards. Everyone completely level, regardless how long you've been on the game, or how much money you have. And at the end of it, signed shirt of the winning team or something like that. Something that's going to get that buzz to get people to sign up. Can't really be tickets to Qatar, but yeah.
No, that makes sense to me. Yeah,
I think the main thing is just plain old exposure. Because like we're all kind of in agreement of like it's a game that we would all anticipate could have like air quotes like mass adoption or whatever, but it's not going to be every man and their dog's game. It's just some people just won't be on their phone playing football games, or some people just don't do any sort of fantasy element, or they just want to put a wee daft line on for £2 on a Saturday and watch one game and just follow their local team or follow their boyhood club, and that's the end of it. So there's different things going on there. But so I think like anyone who could want to play it will be interested. I think when they discover it exists enough to go and look at global fantasy football. What's that? And I think it's just exposure is the main thing that's kind of lacking at this point, because it's still like in the grand scheme of things, like we've had these chats before, but like there's free to play apps that go like viral. They get like 60 million people downloading it, and
why can't they be one of, why can't Sorare's free to play version become one of them? Like I think what Chrissy's saying there, something to do with like a Super 6 situation where like the Premier League, or is it Sky they do Super 6, right? Super 6, but in our format is pick the player from a game that's going to score, like that's going to be the highest scorer. You know what I'm saying? And that sort of gets new people kind of introduced to score, like the scoring matrix, and how why did Mbappe score 100? He scored 3. Well,
like maybe Super 6 meets one shot league kind of vibe.
Yeah.
I would like a Super 5 and pick the best 5 players. You've got whoever wins the tournament at the end of the game week, so just 5 players like normally have highest score. If anyone gets a max score, then you get like 25 grand, near impossible but great advertising, like especially if they do improve the goalkeeper matrix a bit so you can get higher scores, and then like that will literally get everyone ready, preparing, thinking about it. But I would say, like, to Andrew Connor's comment, who says, like, pick a nation, everyone that picks a winning nation gets a free card and stuff. It's a good idea. I just think, as a company, they need to balance it so finely, where it's like what they pay out is versus what they get back. Because in that situation, they give out so many cards, half of the players just sell them and dip. The same with mine, like it is 25 grand. You need to work out, 25 grand versus a perfect score. How often does that happen, kind of thing? Right now, you could offer £1 million. You're not getting a perfect score of 5 players. But yeah,
True.
Yeah, it's an interesting conversation. Production says, one shot league on Sorare for the World Cup. Maybe a third party company do some, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm no sort of coder or anything, so I won't be getting involved in that. But you know what I'm saying? Somebody could make some sort of third party, situation where it sort of aligns with the World Cup, and there might be prizes, like, they could speak to Sorare and they could, like similar to what Sorare Mega do and that sort of thing. Maybe even Sorare Mega might do one themselves.
I'd love to jump on that and say, like, I play I've tried different NFT games, and Zedron's like a horse race game, and they were like sponsored by Netflix, so they'd put up like 25k and just have like Netflix have their latest TV show release on the side. And I was like, why don't Sorare have this with like sporting brands or any brands in the world, where it's like, welcome to, just because I can see it, the Iron Brew World Cup at Sorare or whatever, and it's like, we gave them like, however much money, and every Sorare fan should be behind whatever company it is. So Iron Brew, like, right, I'm buying 10 Iron Brews, even if you can't ship it to their own house, right? I'm shipping it to Quinny's house, getting him stocked up, just to support Sorare, so that long term more brands get involved, we get better off by the sake of it. But basically, it's marketing on the website, on Sorare data for a different company, and they pay for that, obviously.
Yeah, makes sense. There's endless opportunities involved with the World Cup. It's just, can they capitalize on it? Can they get it right? Can they get that, like what Quinny says, exposure is probably the best word, the key word that we can sort of wish for, isn't it? Just getting that name Sorare out there, Global's fantasy football. Okay, how do we think the new sport is going to affect the next 6 months? We won't talk about baseball in depth in that sense. Like, I'm just sort of asking what effect you think it will have on the football side is probably just the easiest question to ask.
0. I don't think much.
Yeah, I was exactly the same as Quinny. I was thinking like, yeah, it's next to nothing. There'll be a bit of crossover both ways where baseball fans come football goes baseball, but it's kind of like a fixed amount of money anyway. Where if I was going to spend, let's say, 50 grand on Sorare and I put 10 grand into the baseball cards, Sorare football have lost that, so it's better for the company on the whole. But yeah, very little effect. 6 months. I doubt it'll be out, to be honest.
Do you think people are going to take money out of their football cards and put them into baseball?
Not a lot. Like I have no interest in baseball. I'd probably maybe buy the best player just because it's like the initial release, isn't it? So whoever's like the Messi of baseball, get him in my team, and I'll just sit on him like Gary Vee did with football. Yeah,
that worked out well for him.
yeah. I don't think it was good, but it's like imagine the best player 10x's, and you were like, I was there on the first day, and I didn't want to pay like 100 quid, £1,000, whatever it was. Yeah. But it depends. If I haven't got if we have a proper recession, everyone's tight on money, I'm not going to be spending money on baseball cards at the bottom of the list.
Yeah,
agreed.
Yeah.
Okay, short and sweet. Return on investment for the next 6 months. Do you have any sort of percentages or numbers in your mind to say, okay, I have a 5 ETH gallery, 10 ETH gallery, I would like to yield an ETH? Like, do we have any sort of markers in your guys' brains? Like, I'll be honest, I don't have a number exactly, but yeah, I'm sure I can speak a little bit about what I want to do in that sense in the next 6 months. But yeah, anybody got any sort of rough guesstimates?
It's hard to quantify targets at the moment because everything is in a real kind of state of flux, if you know what I mean. So if you were to say like 3 weeks ago, oh, I'm targeting to win an ETH and a half's worth of rewards, like if you say that today, like it's probably more likely, but it's still very different because like the sort of cards that could make up that could be a bunch of tier 3s now all of a sudden, or rather than an Apex tier 1 or 2, if that makes sense. So it's kind of hard. I think it's really hard to like quantify like what you're, other than saying like podiums or top 50s, top 100s, those kind of abstract things that are the only things that are, although abstract, relatively consistent. Like top 100, you're always going to get in the mixture for when the European season's on, of course, for something, then that kind of thing. Whereas like tier 1 stars, you don't know what the prize pools will be, and yeah. In terms of valuations of the market, it's even harder because so many cards are going up and down on different things, whether it be the currency, whether it be market, like fear of a transfer, just fear on a position. It's America, or should I be buying more American people, maybe moving into Europe? That kind of, paranoia comes into the market again. Oh, am I doing the right thing? And everything kind of, the wheels kind of cease up a little bit around this kind of time, I feel, because everyone's kind of like, have I done all my moves? Have I made the right moves? Or if I move now, is it the right time or the wrong time? And then, and so because of that, as well as everything else that's going around, it makes it hard for the market to truly correct and to truly realign, like for me. So blah, blah, blah things.
I had a great, I did this series, right? And it was like a game show, and linked to the game show was like things that I wanted to happen in real life, that like, better for the viewers, better for me type thing. And my goal for the year was a 10 ETH gallery. So I was like, yeah, great. It's now at 16 ETH. And I was like, it's worth less than I wanted, but because of the whole ETH scenario. So you can't put a goal out there and say, like, I really want to, because I've smashed that goal and I'm not happy at all. Like, my gallery's like, much lower than I would have expected it to be. Do they capitalize on the Premier League? Do they capitalize on the World Cup? If these are 2 yeses, I want my gallery a lot higher than if they're 2 no's. Not that, just for expectations get higher. I don't have a return. Even like Quinny saying, like, yeah, I want a top 100, a podium. If more people come on the game and they become harder, your your expectations of that go down as well. Like, I don't expect a podium on fantasy football on like FPL anymore because there's too many people. But it's tough to say. I do want to win a division though. It's that simple.
Yeah, maybe a number or a percentage maybe doesn't work, but I was just thinking then when you were talking, like, you could kind of be like, okay, I want to win. I want to win 10 cards in 6 months. You know what I'm saying? Like you could do it by card rather than by value of said cards. You know. Yeah, I mean,
Are we including commons?
I guess we. What'd you say, mate? I'm not playing that common league. You can't pay me to play the
I
common
want
league.
10 commons before the World Cup.
To be fair, it's biting me in the arse right now not having a lot of common goalkeepers, because when I'm playing All-Star Rare right now, I have the Raysol goalkeeper isn't he going to Saudi, or might be going to Saudi, the older guy, Kim
Sung-Yu, I've got him.
Yeah. And he's my basically only common. I've got Vargas, who plays in the Mexican league, but he, for whatever reason, isn't having fixtures right now. So like I'm going in with 4 cards is what I'm getting at. So maybe I shouldn't neglect the common league as much as I probably did in the European season. But yeah, in terms of like numbers of cards, like it's hard to put a number on it. You know, as long as I hit maybe another little win streak, whether that's 2 or 3 weeks of a couple cards, then I'll be happy. But I'm quite realistic in the sense of like, I know I go hot and cold, and if I'm hot right now, then I might go cold for another 4 months. You know what I'm saying? And that just seems like how it's been working out for me. Other people with different galleries, like I'm playing one strict division, or divisions within a region. Like it's going to be different for everyone. You know, expectations are going to vary on how many cards you've got, quality of card. There's loads of variables, but I guess we've probably all got a similar amount of cards, I would say, right now. Now that Quinny sold a bulk of his cards, how many cards you got now, Quinny? You know,
I've got 231.
you've got 200. Wow. Okay. Al, what are you sitting at? Are you counting commons?
No, limiteds, but I'm including limiteds.
Okay.
Half that's limited. 109. Fish.
130.
Oh wow.
Okay, so you both got win. I've only got 86. Yeah, you're leaving me for dead there. But yeah, I just think it comes down to 1, how many divisions you're playing. 2,
you've got 86 cards total, Harry.
Yeah.
Wow.
9 limiteds. 9 limiteds, 44 rares, and 33 supers.
Wow. And what did you say again, Alex? Yours was a bit more, wasn't it? Like 100
yeah, 130.
130, yeah, that didn't surprise me too much. But Harry, you've only got 44 rares and 33 supers.
Quality over quantity, baby.
It's working.
Proofs in the pudding. Yeah, no, it does work, man. It does work, man.
No, I mean, yeah, I'm kind of. Yeah, I've had more. I've had more when I used to play the D3 All-Star, when I used to play Challenger, when I used to play Champs. But yeah, I've just gone balls deep into one little region, and it's paying off big time.
I've looked at your gallery before. I don't know why I never noticed the ratio to rares and super rares was so close.
I know.
If it wasn't for this Jack DeVries guy, you'd get 4 of him.
Yeah, I've got 4 of him.
You've got a few doublers. Once he threes doublers, by the way, you've probably got more supers than you do rares.
I think I do.
There's actual people, you know.
I've got a few verticals as well, where like I have the super and the rare of the same guy.
Sure.
Not many, but a couple. Yeah, I've never really thought of that. I've always known I have like a rare problem, as in like I don't have as many rares. I probably should. Which
I feel the same as you, but I've got double the amount of rares as you and a few less supers. Now, that's mad.
I definitely need to cut down on the supers, to be fair. But all of them, 2 out of those supers are over 23. The rest are under 23. So they're all being used in some way.
That's the thing with U23s. I've seen this to Laird is it's all like galleries like yours and like Pires and some of these are like it's like little tank galleries that are built for U23. You know, and you've got all the little combos and all the little stacks on the go. And there's just there's no fat, there's no excess. And as soon as somebody gets injured or transferred or sold and traded out for the next guy, there's no prisoner taken. But Alex, Alex got 115 limiteds. Why are you not on the limiteds, Harry, at all?
I've been on them. I did have a Porto under 23 stack for a couple of game weeks. I don't know. The thrill wasn't there for me. I'll be honest. I am gonna yeah, I am gonna dip in more. But what gets to me is like if I'm gonna go into limiteds, I want like not the best, but I want close to the best, right? And then I'm like, okay, well, if I need to spend 2 to 3 on the best, it's like, but then I want 2 to 3 in rares and supers.
No. That's only the attitude you need to take if you're doing like globals and regions and all the rest of it. If you want to fuck about with Underdog, and even specialist is the best one. You don't need
my
XP from that.
OCDs.
You can't stack more than 2 people in a team. Blah blah blah. You know the rules.
If I played limited, it would only be under 23s. I can't get up for playing any of the other regions and
specialists.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't. I've played it, but it just doesn't.
My
OCD starts tripping out. Like I don't like having all the guys in my gallery. I just don't enjoy looking at them. I've got no interest. I've got no interest in them. I'll be honest.
Yeah, you just got. Got
it. They just don't. They don't give me the kick.
You're just rubbish. You just like expensive things only.
I don't know. I like the fact that if I win a card, even if it's a tier 3 and under 23s, I'm quite excited about it. Where any other region, if he's a bit older, there's too many risks involved for me. Like an 18-year-old at tier 3 can always come good. A 30-whatever-year-old tier 3 from Challenger probably isn't always going to be good. He's good for a couple of years. So like, I don't know. I just don't. It just doesn't get my juices flowing. To be completely honest,
as a limited whale, my counter argument to the stream is it's fun to win stuff. You win more stuff with more teams. I'm going to put out the most teams I can at a highly competitive level, and like not just winning. Like my Saturday, Sunday, Friday, absolutely filled up with games. I can just dip in and out of when I want. Like I'm also quite superstitious, so if I've had a good game and I haven't watched, I won't watch the next one, and I'll just refresh. It wasn't exactly the same way. It's incredibly fun. Like I was in rares, and the budget I was on at the time, I could only afford 1, possibly 2, but pretty awful teams, and it just wasn't fun. Like thresholds are cool to win, but I actually got bored of winning them, which is ridiculous considering it's like 50 quid a week. Yeah. One thing I do want to bring up with you guys is XMK Productions comment, who says, I think we need to do more for current users to keep them interested. People keep getting high scores and not winning. And just general that high scores, not winning, keeping people on the game. What are your thoughts? How can we improve it? Do we need to improve it? Or is it just like, tough shit, things get harder when more people join?
They have room for more rewards. I think we know that really. So I think that's the key answer. It's like, the scores, no one can do anything like that. Like that is like some weeks, like you luck out and, whatever goes your way or whatever goes against you, that's just the game itself, but they do have capacity for more rewards. We kind of know that. And I think that's the only kind of thing you can really look for with that. But in terms of keeping like all of us like happy, any stuff that's coming, like they're doing the whole refer a friend tier 2 MLS thing, which is totally fine by me. But I'd like to see the same effort going into, the people who play the game every week still, and getting stuck into it, and again, any kind of loyalty rewards, random giveaway, loot bags, merch bags, fucking shiny sticker on your avatar, whatever. It doesn't need to be anything amazing, but any sort of thought or consideration towards just those wee brownie point things, so that because those things are only, again, it's kind of similar to what we were saying earlier on with the pub chat, but anything like that is just a wee bit of, oh yeah, I got this for been on it for 2 years back in 2022. It doesn't mean anything to MD, but it's a wee stupid sticker, it's a wee badge that goes on your bag. It's that kind of just something that makes you feel like, oh, they thought about us and they did something to dish us out. I don't particularly really care about stuff like that, but I know people do. And I think that's something that is lacking.
Yeah. In your head, are those won and lost in the same, SO5 competitions, or, how do you switch it up to it's not just best cards win? I know we have the specialist and the underdog, which are, complete opposite. It's like who can build the best team, really. But yeah, just you keep people interested. The more diverse it is. Like even for like us fans, I'm sure eventually we'll get tired of SO5 and SO7, whatever they bring out. But yeah, just. I'd like to see side games of like completely unrelated to scores, almost like how many nations can you link up, or like maybe you get like 5 seconds to link up historical links to football teams. So like you get a selection of 10 cards, let's say 15 cards, and you've got to drag in your top 3 that have the most connected links of, like, I don't know, like FIFA have their nationalities and clubs, and we have the history of old clubs as well in the background. So, something unrelated to scores I'd like to see. Just keep people engaged for, like, very minimal stuff, banners and shiny stars, like Quinny says.
Could be anything. And they're even talking about we had the moments kind of foreshadowing back in January, so anything they want to produce, it doesn't always need to be cards. They can produce really anything they want just to dish out. There's like nothings that don't mean anything. It doesn't need to be something that you sell on the market, or it's worth something on your SRD value. It can just be something nominal, that's just an in-play perk, of
Sorry, I was thinking about this last week or whenever, like a PlayStation, Xbox, like achievements. I'm just like a fiend for those things, even if no one can see them. I just want that 100% just to prove I've done it. So something like that. That's my grand idea.
They have achievements already, though, right?
Yeah. I went to buy
there's nothing for them.
No, there is coins. I went to buy one of 1,000 just to get that like tick. And it's a 1 of 100. You have to buy 1 of 100. So I overspent on this 1 of 1,000. I didn't really care. I didn't even get the tick.
There's so many things you can do around the bulk, like the main bulk of the game. There's just so much you can do. It's just like you said, it takes manpower, it takes time. It's just whether or not they want to. Do they see that as valuable? It comes down to, like Quinny says, they're putting effort into, offering tier 2 MLS limited for new signups. Where's the effort for the current user base? Like what internally on the platform is what I guess they need to strike a balance with, isn't it? Improving both obviously is optimal and what everyone wants, but it's just where are they putting all their their eggs right now, basically in what basket.
I think Nick did a tweet, was it earlier today or yesterday, just like, the summer's going to be hot on Sorare and all the rest of it. So hopefully there's a lot of stuff locked and loaded in the chamber,
I would say he has said that every 3 months.
I'm going to keep crossing my fingers. I'm just going to keep crossing my fingers every time.
Go, Nicholas has got you on strings like a puppet.
I'm waiting.
That's funny. Shaka Boom asked, would I buy limiteds if they announce limited pro? The answer, Shaka Boom, would probably be yes. Yeah, I'd probably dip in.
Harry, start buying rares.
Yes.
What'd you say? I need to start buying rares.
They're bringing limited pro, then you'll be like, I need to go get some rares now.
I definitely need to do something in that market, for sure. But I think the new season might tempt me to get back into limited. I might play an all-star limited and then the under-23 limited.
See, especially the guys you can't afford at rare and super rare, they are the guys you buy at limited first and foremost. The guys like that, I can't ever. It might not be afford, but it might just be he's just too dear. I can't spend that on him because that's just mental. But they're limited's a $5. It's like, well, I'll just pick that up, and then the itch has been scratched. I've got him. And then when he scores a goal, I can go, fucking yippee-ki-yay, he's in a team.
But then I'll be like, oh, well, I wish I had his rare because that would be more...
Brilliant, right? Well, maybe the rare is now worth that stupid amount of money. I now feel that that's good value for money, and I now make a more informed purchase. Trying before you buy, Harry boy.
Yeah. You need some exposure to limiteds, definitely. Like, even if it's like low value with one monster, I think that's a great little 2 mini stacks and a guaranteed like 60, 70 guy. You can do it for, I don't know what keepers are costing, but actually 300 quid. Like, get T Cruz in there. The guy's a monster.
I built a full Underdog team for the weekend there for 0.17 ETH, a full Underdog 5 unlimiteds, and it was like not guys that are U23 Harry, unfortunately, but it was like Keaton Parks and Albert Rusnak, and it's like good guys going into Underdog. And an Underdog the last week anyway, a score of over 300 put you in the cards, and a score of 400 gets you in amongst all the rares and stuff.
Okay. Like, don't get me wrong, because I'm obviously in America right now, so I do watch a lot of MLS. So yeah, I think if I was to do it, I'd probably just buy an MLS stack and and roll with that. I made a video in the week, a $300 MLS stack, and it was actually a really good team considering it was 0.3 ETH basically on a team. It was a Salt Lake defense and a goalkeeper defense, and then I did Pereira from Orlando, Ladero, and Rudiaz. Like it's a solid team, and yeah, that could potentially get my juices flowing, maybe. But then okay. This is probably the reason why I've not done it. Okay, it's probably because my mind right now is like, oh well, I probably should be selling a few of my supers and maybe a few rares under 23 and move them into rares and supers that are not under 23 and play them in global D3 basically, because I've had luck in that division before. I've done well there before using like Daniel Soloy rare. I've had luck in doing that, and won honestly quite a few good prizes from there. So that in my brain is like, well, do I do that or do I sell all like a couple super under 23s and rare 23s and move them into limited? You know what I'm saying? That's my contemplation now. What is better for me, D3 All Star or limiteds? That is basically the reason why I've probably not gone into limited as much as I should have.
It's a horrible choice, Harry.
I know.
I think, but I don't think you should have those things in competition with one another. I think they are two things.
It's priority. Yeah.
Like All-Star,
like what comes first? What comes first is basically the question.
Well, you're closer to D3, but I think Alex, I think you're overestimating. Like, I know you've built a stack there for 0.3 ETH or whatever, but like you don't need to really spend that much to just get started and just get like a workable.
Yeah, but there's no way I can just get started, Quinny, is there? Like if I'm
of course,
you know what I'm saying, it just don't.
Because you don't really
like
care
that ain't going to get me
it.
going. That's
exactly.
Not going.
You're not going to get like, I can't wait to go and spend 10 ETH on a bunch of limiteds, but you'll be like, right, okay, well that team, I brought in a wee tier 2, and you'll probably be tier 2, and you're like, you know what, that wee guy's all right, you know, add him with the rest. And then you go into the next week, and then a wee tier 3 comes out, and you're like, I think I know that guy as well. And you're like, I'm actually short a midfielder this week. Do you know what? That guy's £8. Let me go and get him, and then this little team can keep on ticking away. And see, before you know it, you've played 10 game weeks, you've won 4 or 5 rewards. They're probably not worth very much, but you've got a little arsenal there. So then see when you are ready, and like Alex says, you go and get a big hitter. The big hitter just goes in, and it's like there's a wee ecosystem of guys that are 50s and 40s and the odd 60. And when you throw them into specialists, you throw them into Underdog. I'm now getting to that point after like putting them on autopilot, if you like, for the last like 4 months. And that's what's fun about them for me, because like All-Star, like all the stuff we were talking about, like you would need to go out and get best in class. You need to go and get Mbappe, Timber. You need to go and get all these guys. I think if you want to go into under 23 limited and say every week, I will be in amongst it, you know, you need the biggest and best, no doubt about it. But outside of that, you can really start with very little with a bit of graft.
Yeah, I mean, I was playing limited All-Star, but I was just giving the prize away to the viewers basically. But I had like Mickey Lendl, I bought for £8. Like I've done it, and it didn't do it for me. So you know what I'm saying? Like I've done what you've basically suggested, and it was like it just. And even when I bought a good Porto stack, I had Diego Costa, I had Vitinha, Vieira, Ever Alisson, whatever his name is, and then I had João Mario, who isn't obviously a great defender, but he's part of the stack. And again, that didn't do it for me, because I was like, oh well, this is 1.5 ETHs worth of cards here. I want to move that back into rares. I think I bought a Gravenberch to do so. Yeah, so just like, I don't know. I will definitely do it. I'm definitely going to get back into it. But I don't know whether like the winning the cards. It ain't even about winning the cards at that level for me, if I'm honest. Like I'd prefer for that to be engagement in that sense. You know what I'm saying? Like I would give up my winning cards at limited for just more engagement in that sense, because I prefer to give that away, because that starts off so many new guys. You know what I'm saying? Imagine how many more users I can sort of get into the game and kick. No, but they've already signed up at that point. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that would be the reason why I would go balls deep into limited, is that sort of side of things. Yeah.
There's some good questions coming in, or like comments, and some not good ones.
What have we got here? Get a Barda. I'm glad I didn't get into limited. Everything's being built around them. So yeah, that's one thing. The Sorare Mega situation. If you do have nice limiteds, you can kind of kick on in Sorare Mega. I see Bob. Is it Bob?
Yeah, only Bob Flynn.
And he goes crazy, doesn't he?
McBride does really well as well. Still, I don't think I've ever been close. So it's not all that. But I would say it's not too late. Like, I really think if you do have rare cards, maybe a couple supers, limited is just like, it should be on the menu, 100%. Like, even just playing the specialist, right? Because it's cheap, it's cheerful, it's fun. If your scores go too high, drop into All-Star, I really think everyone should be in it. But maybe I'm biased. I do want to ask.
I get it.
This is very not personal. I'm just taking it for myself. But Quinny, do you reckon Abada can get in the Celtic team this year as like a mainstay ahead of Maeda?
I think all these guys get significant minutes, but I just my stance on this, and I know you said over Maeda there, but I just think the best 11, and that's going to be like European games against Rangers, the home at Aberdeen, away to Hearts, these kind of big games. I don't know if I think he only starts if we expect him to start. Like Maeda looked fucked on Wednesday. There's no chance of starting Saturday. I think you'll be able to predict if you watch Celtic, which I know you do, of course, but anyone listening, if you watch Celtic, you'll probably be able to predict quite reasonably. Oh yeah, Maeda will be benched at the weekend. Abada's probably going to start, or Giakoumakis is going to start now, and Kyogo will play on the left, and Jota will get ready. It probably will be quite. Once we've had maybe 5 or 6 games, or 1 or 2 European games, and you see that Wednesday, Saturday, kind of chop and change how he plans on doing that, you'll be able to. You will kind of know, I think, but I don't think he'll be best 11. I just don't think the manager will pick him over his guys.
No, I think you're right. The press from Maeda is ridiculous in the big games like Champions League. It's going to be crucial. But yeah, my thoughts were similar to yours. Like he'll probably play against Livingston, even though they've been quite strong recently. But yeah, he's playing those walkover games really, I think. So yeah, get Abada and hold if you know when he's playing.
Yeah, but he can also be trusted like in most matches. If you again like Maeda's got 5 yellows, or that's a pretty obvious one, but he's but even from the bench, even if he gets the last 20 minutes of like the first 10 games, every first 10 games he get the last 20 minutes, I'd probably back him to come away with 2 goals and 2 assists. So like even though that's not going to be too much use for SO5, but if that was a guy and like you're thrown into underdogs or whatever, or you're happy to throw him into All-Star for Eve bashing, and he'll pick up the 25, and if you're crossing your fingers on the 60 coming.
Yeah, that's pretty much what. Yeah, I did buy him in rare for the All-Star. With that, yeah. But he's not a mainstay. He wouldn't go in mine.
I think it'll be very rare he never appears in a match, like at all. Like, so I think you'll get 25 minimum, like in that sense. But who am I?
Quindog, do you want to show us your teams for game week 282, mate?
Sure. Right. Okay. Have you got the share screen? Oh, you do. Got them all here. So I did a video on, I think, was it this one the other day? So I've got an Underdog rare team going in for the first time that I'm excited about. Didn't buy anyone specifically for it, but I did butcher my All-Star rare team to make this one better, because you can't play more than 2 players from the same team. But I've got 2 pairs of 2 in here, and they work pretty well on the averages. Have been under 50. They're both away from home, and the fixtures aren't easy necessarily, but they might be okay. I'm worried about the striker because he gets sent off in the cup like last night or something.
Headbutt someone, didn't he? Or tried to headbutt someone.
I was mental. So I'm now like coming into this today, I'm now looking at it like, is he even going to appear? I know he won't be suspended directly for the cup red card, but maybe the club look at him and go, wee man, you're going to sit it out for a few days. But I've got no other option. I'm very tight on forwards because this is now my All-Star rare team by taking out some of those pieces out of there, like Araujo and Parks and whatever. So the defenders will both play and both score relatively well enough. So will Morgan. Harper might not even feature, but this is like this is my non-EU. This is the real extent of how far my club goes at the moment. Cornell's got a tough away game to LA, so as long as that picks up ETH, I'll be happy enough for that. And then Rare Pro, I've got 2 good enough teams. I've had to drop Sebastian Lletget because he was injured, came back from injury, and then randomly DNP'd last week. And I've not seen anything, I was checking before we come on live, to suggest that he's in the team or not. So I'm just going to play Wanyama. He's at home to Charlotte. Charlotte are relatively notorious as being very poor on the road. Montreal are very good at home. And Wanyama can get 54 points or something, and that can kind of do me. But again, like I was saying to Alex earlier, my worry with this team is they could probably get like 390 points, but that might not be enough this week, depending on just like power stacks and big fixtures that could go off in other directions from me, So I'm kind of hopeful, but again, if nothing came of this team, I wouldn't be like, oh my God, I never seen that coming. Like, and again, similar to this team, Kamala and Token, Acevedo and Barco, they'll kind of talk for themselves. But again, like Barco's at River, so there's other pieces at River that could hit. Red Bulls' fixture isn't exactly amazing. Acevedo may not start, probably will, but it may not. It's hardly guaranteed. And then this is probably one of the teams I'm the most excited for as a specialist. So I went and picked up this Thiago Noose. His L15 is under 40. You've still got me on share screen, don't you?
Yeah.
You can still see me on Sorare data, yeah?
No, we can't for some reason.
Okay, I'll 2 seconds. I will change the rules around what I'm sharing. I think I understand. Let's do window. This one. There we go. Sorted. Right, just let me know when you've got it up.
Yeah, it's up.
Sorted. So this guy's L15 is like 37, but he seems to be coming into a game. He's got a goal in the last match, been playing right mid, and he's just not, he's just recently been trying to get into the team, and you can see all these scores here, but it's killed him on the score wise because sometimes these guys don't get that many fixtures and they get like a goal from the bench, and then say that happened at 64. Say that happened like here, that would make his L15 like totally different. So even though this little guy is like kind of breaking into the team or whatever, his L15 is still nice and low because all those sub appearances, even though he's got that, 2 decisives his last 15. Anyway, yada. Argentinos are at home to Arsenal. The expected score for a forward, is a forward, is he a midfielder? I forget now. He's a forward, is 54. So they are woeful. I've got their backup goalkeeper who can't even get a game for them. all the goalkeepers there are rotten. So I'm hoping he does good. Magno didn't start the cup game, so I'm hoping he starts against Philly. He bags an 80. Yaimar should be back from injury. Fry's Fry. And then this wee guy, Luciano Ferreira, I'm giving away his rare, and I picked up his limited because he is always underdog qualified, it seems, since I've discovered him. And he's not got a great game, but I'm kind of now playing him in this division on law of averages. They're at home to Gimnasia La Plata. Midfielder should score about 42. And, the last game he scored really poorly, but he was playing left mid. Thanks to our good friends at Sorare Data for the level of detail they can give us on this,
Yeah, that's unreal.
Generally, in the last 2 games, he's been playing cam. Scores were a wee bit lower, but when he was getting a wee run in the team of centre mid, you can see there a couple of goals over 5-6 games,
Yeah.
And, when he wasn't getting booked and stuff, positive AA scores. He's a little guy. I'm not holding my breath on him. It's a decent enough game. If he's not playing left mid, he could get 46 or something. And the rest of these guys, so in total, I'm hoping for about 350 plus. And I'm quite excited about that. But they'll probably all go DNP now.
Andrew just said that Tevez is the new manager of Rosario.
Tevez?
Apparently.
Brilliant. I've got a coach's card. Hey.
Yeah, I saw that announced.
Wow. Okay. That's interesting. And then this is your all-star. Okay. Yeah. I like the look of this.
This is the all-star. Yeah. So Lampe, the Seattle boys that don't fit into the specialist. And then like Fagner came back off the bench in the last game weeks. I think he's now back from injury. And it seemed like Gill, the big centre back at Corinthians, came off injured. I've been too lazy to check it out. But anyway, I've just playing Fagner. I think he's the only defender I've got really left with a game.
I know João Victor went off injured for Corinthians yesterday, the centre half.
Oh, really? And Thiago Martins went off injured as well. So I think I've got Fagner really, or I take the gamble that this Gill guy, he's scoring really well, man. Like 50, 52, 78, 60, 72. But I'm just going to go with Fagner. He's come back, and I'm hoping that he'll at least come off the bench. And I'm not holding my breath. I would expect something from this game week, but again, if other teams were to kick out big, huge, massive scores and somebody was to go out and bully a team or whatever, it wouldn't surprise me.
The boys are saying that Rui Diaz is out for a couple of weeks, Quinny.
Did I still have him in a team? If I had, I have Morris. I guess if I've got Rui Diaz, I'll get both of them. Why did I?
So I know he scored in the last game that he played, and he got injured in that game, I think.
Yeah, I sold him with a 3-week injury or something.
And here you go, Harry, right? So I picked up Alvaro Barreal, your pal, for the Underdog last week, so I can now use him he
Love
now
it.
becomes useful. Look at that.
Good fixture as well, I would say, at home to Orlando. It should be a competitive game. Nice.
Should unfortunately he's no longer Underdog qualified. I don't think because
Okay.
he's. And I think he is Underdog. He would be Underdog qualified, but not. Let's see, for this, I need the L15 to be under 40, which is why this Thiago Nunes is so valuable, because getting that under 40 for a guy that will play and could do something, it's really tricky.
That's, I guess, like that is the fun that I'm missing right now. You know what I'm saying? Those little nuances, and you know what I'm saying? Like I don't get to get involved in stuff like that, which I think is kind of fun. Seeing you do it anyway seems fun. So
that guy costs like £6 or something. That Thiago Nunes and the Luciano Ferreira costs like £3. You know.
Yeah, no, there's definitely value in it. I completely.
Just need to win once, and it's worth it.
100%. No, I rate it. Somebody did ask a question. I mean, I don't know exactly how to answer it, but Perry, who said he's brand new to the game, he's got 2 ETH looking to invest in the new season. How would I go about it? I'd rather get one competitive than going for many that are not, basically. But yeah, have you got any like one-off like answers to that? I mean, mine just right off the top of my head would be like, go for a really good all-star team. I don't know if you would agree, or maybe you go for a challenger. I don't know. What would you go with 2 ETH? Or would you go straight into limiteds?
Under 23 limited squad. Get
Really?
the monsters. It's going to be the most entertaining if you're new. I think it's got good returns and good long-term prospects, because, you know, talking of bringing in the World Cup players, talking of bringing in the Premier League players, they're all going to start at the bottom, right? So,
True. Yeah.
You know, what's going to go up more in the next in the next 6 months? I would say limiteds would move more than rares percentage-wise, and that's, you know, why I position my gallery that way. So I am biased, but it's method in the madness, hopefully.
Yeah, no, I get that. I completely see what you've just said there, and see value in, maybe going for a nice little monster under 23, 8 to 10 players, whatever it is, and just grinding out things that way. I can definitely see, like you said, fun in that. You know what I'm saying? No, if you're new to the game, you're probably going to want to buy a few guys that you know. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Like not these obscure players that just score really well. Don't get me wrong, there's fun in that as well. But yeah, I do think what you've just said there is very valuable. I don't know if I would. It's out of that or building an all-star rare team that I think could compete every week easy for ETH, and then on top of that, can be in and around the prizes. I don't know what you're going to have more fun with. I don't know what's going to be more profitable. There's definitely something you have to weigh up there. But yeah, I don't disagree with what you said there. I think that's probably the best balance. You know what I'm saying? What you've just said in terms of fun and maybe a nice return as well.
Is that who was it that wrote the comment? Because I've got my all-star team. It will be about
Perry.
That. My under 23 team will be about that. So I'll just send you my 2 teams, and you can just see like which one applies, like which one you think you'd have more fun out of. And if you really want to get deep, you can go on like the lineup builder on Sorare and make like estimations of where you might finish each week. And then you can, you know, chop out a player that I have for a player that you know that you think's really good. And obviously make your own decision, because it's your game. Like if you,
100%.
You know, ultimately, sorry, the one thing I would say is right now I'd buy European players. I wouldn't jump into America, because I think they're at the peak, and they're opposite for European players where they're at the bottom. Everyone likes to make money or, you know, increase in gallery value. So European players regardless.
Quindog, have you got a little answer for us?
I did a video on the Sorare TV YouTube channel the other day, and it was a budget builder for 1 ETH on rares. And for about 1 ETH, you could get like a starting 5 that would compete for, like you could quite easily get a starting 5 that would compete for ETH like every week, no problem. And then if you've got a balance of 2 ETH, of course, you then get an ETH to either upgrade a piece or 2 and then get a wee bit of padding. But to be honest with you, I'm more in line with Alex. I'd probably spend an ETH and a half of that on like floor piece, like guys that are just ridiculously low price compared to where they've been in the past. Champion Euro cards in particular, like guys that are, I don't know, like PSG, Bayern Munich, like big guys that are just on their backsides for no real reason. I'd spend a bit an ETH or so on them, and then like I would try and get like a rare contingent, because post August that will become something that everyone will want, and if you've got the opportunity to have it, then I would save yourself the future FOMO in that respect. So I'd try and like start on rares in some respects, but I'd definitely have a Because you can always add to rares as you go, or you can add to anything as you go. Just because what you've got today, if you find a tenner down the back, I don't know, but you can always add to things later on if you want to grow into it, trade things later on, whatever. But I would definitely, champ Euro before the new season kicks off for sure.
I think the way he sort of said it, like sort of asked the question, it seems like when he said the new season, I'm hoping that means European cards, like you said, Al. So that'd probably be a best bet, wouldn't it? To just jump mainly into limited, nice, really chunky, quality wise little roster, and then like what Quinny said, maybe 25% of that 2 ETH goes into 5-6 rares that aren't going to change the world, but it means you can sort of compete and do a little bit in the ETH grinding space of All-Star Rare. But I don't know if Perry, but you're gonna need post August a rare goalkeeper in All-Star Rare to play All-Star Rare. Right now you can use a common. Doesn't have to be a goalkeeper, but that's basically the consensus. That is going to stop. So you won't be able to use any rares in the rare divisions effectively.
Any common in the rare division, yeah.
Any commons in the rare divisions post August. Al, do you want to show us your teams?
Yeah, if it allows me to.
I don't know how to request it. I know Quinny.
I'm on
good at that.
I understand. Let's proceed. The window or the entire screen?
Big contemplation, that is.
It's because I can't actually select either.
Oh, really?
I would have thought I would have allowed it. Don't show me this one again. Yeah. No, I feel like it's a permission problem with the browser, but it's not giving me permission. Like, do you want to? Like, will you allow me to share? Okay, wait, give me a second. You two keep talking.
No worries. I'm actually quite happy. I know we're obviously speaking about Game Week 282 right now, but because of the J League, have you seen midweek Hiroshima are playing Gamba, Quinny?
I knew there wasn't many games on.
Yeah, so there's basically loads of America games and then like one J League game. But luckily, I have 2 Osakos, so I can play 2 lots of under 23s, basically, which just by chance I didn't buy 2 or buy the extra one, knowing that there would be. I think it was a game. Remember the COVID game? Do you remember that situation about a month ago? They got called off. So luckily it falls into next game week. But I don't know if Sorare have recognized that yet. It's on Sorare data, but I'm not sure if the game's been, because on the calendar, there's no All-Star Rare basically midweek, but there should be, because there's a J League fixture as well as the America fixtures. So I'm not sure if that's going to get corrected. You think it will?
Interesting.
But Aldog, how are we looking?
I'm on the permissions, but it's not like a screen share.
It's interesting. That's fine. I mean, I can do mine first if you want, and maybe we can try and sort out yours after that.
Let me try this.
You got it?
You can see that.
There he goes. He's in.
Yes. Unreal. So the first one is always U23s because if there is a game over summer, it would be.
You've got your like so rare, like screen on your screen. right now it's an infinite loop.
I have. I'm not that dumb.
Put this into Mad Vortex.
Oh, I know what it is. Okay.
Multiverse of madness happening here.
I hope all the viewers enjoyed that. Jesus.
Here we go. You're in.
Okay.
You're in.
Yeah, so it's the
U23s. That was trippy.
But like I said at the start of the stream, I've sold all of my best players in America.
Okay.
So basically, I was trying to time the top, sell my River Plate stack, get into European cards, watch them boom in value. I'm happy to trade off the fun of not playing for a little while. I got a recent transfer for Fernandez back, who I missed because he won me so many rewards. So I was like, let's get involved again. And obviously, I have a couple of scraps. So Kamala is ex-Celtic. Yuki, I thought was going to be this absolute monster, didn't turn out to be. Pablo Ruiz was always a tip on the So Red Data podcast when it's like 15 quid for him. So he's turned out really well and I didn't really want to sell him. And then Tanny I bought because if you've got all these other players and I had my River Plate stack, I might as well have a goalkeeper to go along. and in terms of like fixtures and stuff, I really haven't had time to research any of this. But do you guys know about, is Kamala playing? I saw last week he was suspended. So is he first choice?
Yeah, he should be back. Should be back in for this.
Yeah, tough fixture though. It looks like on Sorare data.
Yeah,
not easy.
Ellie are doing good now, but the Bills travel well.
Good. That's
they do
what I like
travel
to hear.
very well. Chat is saying the River might rotate because they have Copa Libertadores midweek, which they do.
Yeah, they're playing Velez.
So
yeah.
What you say, mate?
I think they're playing Velez, right? Yeah. Well, I've got the goalkeeper for, so I know how bad they are. So, like I said, not too bothered either way. Obviously, I hope it wins, but I'm expecting a tier 2, tier 3, if anything. When I said I had 6 teams, it's just because I knew this number was 6. I have a rare team playing. I have a common team with no defender, which is just like when you're saying before, it's just the luck of the draw. I played casual as much as I could. Still never drew a defender. Got 1,000,001 goalkeepers. And here's the thing: you're really missing out on Mr. Trades. The weeklies, they're just so fun. So
Mr. Trades,
yeah, I have some of like the worst players that I've just like kept up, and some of the best players that are just underperforming. So Lucas Hoyos is Vela's goalkeeper, and they've lost both their centre backs recently, especially Giannetti. They're really like the absolute monster, especially on Sorare. So conceding goals, they're very close to the bottom of the Argentinian league. Great, slots into the Underdog league. I'm cheering down his scores some week. Some weeks. Kang Sam-woo is fantastic. He's kind of like my under the radar tip. If I was going to, if I, was trying to find a budget player, I'd buy him. So he's just moved to the Chinese Super League. Obviously, the Super League has just started. So, you get that longevity of playing over summer, but still going beyond most other players. He hasn't got a decisive action yet, I don't think. And he's been putting up 62s without them. He's very like far forward left back, like a left wing back. So I'm sure he's going to get a couple of decisive through the season and put up hundreds. And I think that's what you want, especially from a player that cheap. Not financial advice. Juninho, just a reward I picked up, really solid scorer now and again when he gets a decisive, 70 here. So I was like, I'll put him in. Problem is, I've just checking on Sorare data. Flamengo's a really tough fixture apparently, so he might get tough and changed. Obed Vargas, again, you guys will probably know more, but he's 16 years old, I believe, and I won him as a reward. So you're not going to trade off a 16-year-old who's like playing first team football. I know Seattle are a good team. No idea if he's locked, but he's obviously played the last 4 games. So thoughts?
Yeah, he's locked because João Paulo's done his ACL or whatever. He's done cruciate ligament, so would have been playing. But yeah, I've watched him loads. I've watched Obed play loads of times recently. My roommates or my housemates are Seattle fans. So
is he back from the
first 16? I don't know if he went, to be honest. He's definitely not played any of the 20 games.
We were talking. I said it was Paul McCall, and you said no, it's not Paul McCall. It's Obed and somebody else that was away.
You're on about Paxton Aronson. Yeah,
you said Paxton Aronson and Obed Vargas. That's what you said.
No, Vargas hasn't gone. To be fair, I've been watching the under 20 games, and no Obed Vargas. No, he's not playing in the 20 games. He might be playing in an under 19s, but the under 20 tournament is like Caden Clark, Paxton Aronson, Cade Cowell scored recently. Jack McGlynn's been playing. I could name most of the sort of guys who are in the MLS sort of setups that are playing in that 20s tournament, but he definitely hasn't played a minute yet.
Scott Marshall reckons he's injured.
Yeah, Scott reckons he's injured.
I've just Twittered it. An injury to Obed Vargas means plenty of minutes for other young defensive mids, Danny Leva and Josh Atencio. That's my boy. Big opportunity for both of them to draw youth national team attention. Vargas is out with a back injury, and in air quotes, it's not a good injury, says the manager Brian Schmetzer.
Well, big shout out to Scott Marshall, Harry Trades. Please get me on.
And then the response is Bomber. Would have been fun to see him with the U20 team, Harry. So he must have been in it at some point.
Well, I know he didn't play a minute. That's all I can say. Definitely didn't play a minute. I've been watching every one of their games, to be honest, and there's some gems in there which I won't be sharing right now, but I will share at some point.
Anyway, I'm happy to be on, so my teams actually have a chance to get out. So basically, the choice is make 2 teams into 1 or 2 weak teams. So I'd probably go 2 teams into 1, but let's see what the teams are saying. So Kang Hyun Moo. God, funny story. I've absolutely pulled someone's trousers down by mistake on this guy. I had his rare, sold him like at his peak. The next game, he's out of like an ACL for a year or something. I felt quite bad for the guy. And then I like to cover, before any of this happened, I bought like I bought a limited and then I sold it. And then like 6 months after the injury, I bought one back ready for the new season. He's still not played a minute, which is ridiculous. I think the new keeper's doing quite well, but I saw he was on the bench last game. So I was like, he's got a chance to play. And, these are all just, this is your specialist limited league. So if you can bring a goalkeeper in, right, even if he doesn't play, I think it's a good choice. This Rion guy, don't know much about him, but he's just like a reward that I've won. That was cool. Key, obviously ex-Celtic, usually great scores. I saw he was benched last game. So I'm not sure if that's too much, playing time or whatever, but
come off the bench. They come off at half time. I think it's minute management. I'm expecting it to start at the weekend.
Yeah. Good. Louis Morgan as well, ex-Celtic. So, just want to have in the club to put in, but, perfect for these specialist limited leagues. I think he's playing really well, but is he at LA now or is he Red Bulls?
Red Bull.
Yeah, so he's got a tough fixture then. So this is the team that's going to be made into one because Wesley, I don't know what I was thinking. I must have been speaking to John or something because I picked one of those up when he moved to Brazil. Thankfully, it was like 8 quid or something, but I actually expected him to be good and he wasn't. So I don't know if you want me to do it off stream, but I'll condense that into one team. It's just which one we go for. I'll finish with my final weekly team, which is just putting 3 players out. So I didn't see yours in this, Quinny. Did you put one out in the free league?
I've not come aboard with it.
Okay.
I'm not sure Chiellini will be. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a team that's not playing basically. Like Henry Kessler, like I hate the guy. He's just never fit. Like he even has like a Twitter account. So every time I search his name, it's just his tweets. Just and supposed to get great responses. I'm like, just fuck off, mate. Tell me whether you're playing or not. And the answer is always no. Chiellini, like he's obviously just moved. Like if he plays, I'm sure he'll put up a great score. If he doesn't, probably won't. Too big of a game to risk, I suspect. And when Yama was the last man out, so that's basically a throwaway team. But having all these just excessive cards which you don't care about, it's just one day one of them's going to hit, and hopefully they hit big, and it's just fun, really. So I'll condense these 3 teams or these 2 teams into one.
You could just get one Yama in for Vargas. Would that not just fit?
Yeah, but I don't like Juninho's fixture.
Fair enough.
And then it's like, do I gamble on Kang? Because also if I get rid of, because Key and Lewis Morgan, I think are probably better.
Yeah, they're both handy.
Yeah, this Ugazi has got a good fixture. He was a tier 1, an absolutely awful tier 1. If the guys are saying Enzo's not playing, then you bring in Pablo Ruiz here. Key, you're expecting to be back. And then we've got the guy that I love, Kang, in here. Oh, we're one short of an unders here. And what do we need? Under 40. Obed Vargas is out. Brian Gutierrez. Yeah. So I could do... Sorry?
He's been playing, hasn't he?
Yeah. It's just one of those, you just
I looked into the So Rare in the States podcast on Monday. Your pals, Harry Boy. I forget which one it was. I always lose track of the names on them with the voices. I know the voices, but he was saying, I think it was Nashi. Yeah, Nashi was saying Gutierrez looked good in the last match. He's getting some good touches. Didn't do much in the match, but showed some. I love him. Had a super, but I sold it.
Well, he looked really, really, really good. Tall. Got a lot.
He's got a wee elegant touch on him. He's clever.
Yeah, he glides, to be fair, with the ball. He's nice.
That means I could really bolster up this team, potentially, if I break up my under 23s, which I don't really want to do, but it's probably the right choice. Well, it's tough because you could play a team like this. No. Kessler, Rion, Kang. Yeah, I'll work on it. I don't think people really want to see me just tossing and turning, but a decision will be made. I don't like this lobby screen at all. Like I didn't, say anything about it until I've had time to use it. But what do you guys think? Are you used to it yet? I just hate it.
I don't really mind it.
You don't mind it.
Yeah,
Because
when you get
to the page when your teams are done, that makes it worth it for me.
Yeah.
That wee page is pretty sick now. You know,
my teams, yeah.
So I can having that page, I can deal with the other bit being a bit clunky or whatever. I don't care.
The nonsense.
Other people will care more, and then it'll be fixed.
Yeah.
But I can deal with it. I don't even do what you're doing now. See that little scarcity tab thing you're running through? I don't even do that. I just leave it all. I just scroll down the colours.
Wait, you can do that?
Yeah, I was going to run all
to be fair, that's how I want it. I didn't know you could do it.
Oh, yeah.
I keep forgetting to put in teams because I'm like, I
didn't know you could do it your way. That's funny, isn't it?
Yeah. Shows how good it is. Yeah, I'm just going to keep editing these teams if someone else wants to jump in.
No worries. Yeah, I've got my teams ready, but there'll probably be some changes maybe later now that I probably don't think Enzo's going to play.
If anyone if anyone knows about Asia, Kankyun Mu, if he's playing or not, that would be great. That would be cherry.
Which is he K-League or J-League?
K-League.
Yeah, I'm not well versed in that, to be honest.
What did you say his name was again?
Kankyun Mu.
I think he's just been announced manager of Rosario Central. Not him.
So this is what we're rocking for under 23s, going with 2 forwards. Ferreira's away to Austin, which I don't love. Mitsuta's away as well, again, which I don't love. Ruiz DMP'd last week, so he's being dropped into under 23s. Shigioka got an assist last week, scored like 90 or something with a clean sheet. So yeah, he gets the starting position ahead of Tsunomoto this week. And then Osako, I think they're away. Like I said, same as Mitsuta, but the fixture actually isn't that bad in terms of, I think they'll win. I just don't, I think they'll keep a clean sheet. I'm not sure if they'll win situation. Rare Pro, again, Osako, Sekigawa, they're away as well. Like a load of my guys are away this week. Young Woo is actually at home. He has a decent fixture against, I can't remember the name of the team, but we'll have a look in a minute. Enzo might have to get rotated depending on, whether I think, River are going to rotate. We got Cho Young Wook. I think they're at home to Ichion or however you pronounce it. I'm not the best with my pronunciations with the the K-League, sorry. And then we're going into Super Rares. Very similar team, though, won the division last week, apart from Cho Young Wook. So I'm bringing in Nishio. They're at home to Shimizu Pulse, who are notoriously not great at scoring goals. George Campbell away, and Maya away, Kada away as well, and so is Tani. So if I had to guess, I'm probably not going to win anything this week if I stick my neck out and put a bet on. But yeah, we're throwing in an all-star rare team as well to get a bit of ETH, which includes Tsunomoto, Burrell, one of Quinny's boys, another one of Quinny's boys, DJ, 99, and then another Akida appearance as my other, 2 forwards actually. So yeah, there might be a bit of tinkering that'll go on with the whole Enzo situation if I feel like he's gonna play a part this week or not. But apart from that, that's kind of as good as it gets for my game week. I'm not, I didn't think I'd win anything last week and I did. So I'm not going to say I'm, I'm saying, not in the running at all, because I clearly am in the running because I've got a ticket. I'm in the game week. Is just more, do I see those boys performing away from home as much as they can do, at home. So yeah, be interesting to see, how we all get on, I guess.
Hopefully something comes in.
Hopefully something comes in. Bob Flynn has just given us a good evening. Jasper says, do you think Kim will start? No, I don't think he'll start. He's just the only comment that I can put in, basically. Jasper. Okay, I need to...
He's off.
Now, I need to get this giveaway going on, which I've basically already got it sorted. First, Quinny, I'm going to do the one that we did together. So... the entry point for that was comment on the last live stream that me and Quinny did. And you'll basically be in with a chance of winning a card depending on who you pick between me and Quinny. And Quinny was the winner in that little, competition. Pablo Ruiz was a DMP for me, so I'm not going to say I would have walked if he played, but I would have walked if I would have played, if he would have played. But he didn't. Quinny was victorious. I'm going to go through the comments now and pick somebody that voted for Quinny. I'm just doing it off screen just so I can get it up, and then we'll throw it on screen. Comments.
That was easy.
Where have you got that from?
It's the wee button.
That's funny. That's really funny.
Just for you, Harry boy.
I mean, it was a sweat because I don't think two of your guys didn't start, to be fair, did they?
No, we
you
both had
had
a DNP.
two subs. Yeah. Oh, you all your guys played and they just 2 came off the bench, or 3 came off the bench, no? You had Acevedo, Barco came off the bench, and so did Andrade, right?
Maybe, yeah, that might have been that. Yeah.
And then you had Tanny clean
Andrade.
sheet and Tolkien assist.
Tolkien assist. It was Buddy Andrade came off the bench and did nothing. Bugger. That team was, that week was so close, man.
Yeah, you had a really good start, didn't you, with the whole Tanny situation?
Yeah. Just reminded me.
Okay, I'm going to go with the first comment that I saw with your name on it, Quinny, and that goes to Stratsy FC.
Woo!
So, Stratsy FC is going to be winning a Tolo, or Nuhu, whatever you want to call him, Seattle defender. Bought him last night in preparation for my loss. So Stratsy, congratulations. I will be sending you a Tolo. I'll do that off screen, so it's happening right now, basically. Stratsy is a limited player, which is what we like to see, because he will be getting a new limited card. Yeah, predictions, Quinny. Do you think you're going to win something this weekend if you had to bet?
Well, I was just looking there. The specialist limited, see last week. Can I share my screen?
Of course you can, yeah.
Share.
Quinny, where is it to?
Must be this one, yeah.
There you go, mate.
So, that 2 things. I was just looking at this when you said that there about my under 23s, right? So,
yeah.
Specialist limited last week, right? This team here was, pardon me, 81 points off the podium. Okay. I got 260 points with a DNP. So that's 340 points, basically, for the podium. And when I look at this team here, I think this team could get 340 points. So I'm still quietly quite confident. But like I've said about 1,000 times in this stream, if I get to the end of the game week and I've just been short on about 3 different levels, it wouldn't be a surprise. It would still be sore, but it would be a surprise.
No, that makes sense.
So,
Alex, how you feeling?
No chance. Not no chance. I've got a cool underdog team which I'll enjoy watching. Enzo's not going to play apparently, and I watched a lot of River play. And when they did have the Copa Libertadores, they did rotate. So I'm pretty much expecting that not to hit now. But it's good to have those vibes before you go out, and it happens. But this is all in my plan. It's trading fun for hopefully profit. Buying the bottom of Europe, sitting on them, waiting a month, waiting 2 months, and then getting back to business when the real dogs roll up in the new season with pimped out teams.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Okay, so now I'm going to share my screen just to...
I was going to say Jasper Hall, the manager, said he was like really 50-50 touch and go for the last match, and he didn't make it. So I'm assuming Neymar is back for this week. I'm taking a week to making assumptions. I'm reading between the lines. I'm trying to, read tea leaves and all that fun stuff.
Okay, interesting. Jasper also asked, is Pablo Ruiz playing? I imagine he does. He was there. He was watching the game last week. He was in the stand, so he's in the country. I don't see why he won't play. I have not heard anything about injuries, but yeah, as far as I'm aware, he should play. Can you guys see the Twitter picker on my screen?
Sure
Yeah.
can.
Awesome. So yeah, we're going to be picking 5 winners, 5 Akita limited to going out, 386 entrants, and we're just going to go. I don't know if this is going to draw all 5 straight away. I'm imagining it's going to.
I think
it does. Does it? Okay. So we'll go all 5 in 3, 2, 1.
Remember.
Boom, 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 boom.
Boom. Okay. 5 winners. I can now reply to the winners, I hope.
What's that cute button?
Yeah, I know. This is...
Yeah.
There we go. That's what I like to do.
They all follow you before you, or whatever.
Well, I did. What I did was I put it in the options so you can do must follow.
He's a smart lad. This isn't his first rodeo.
Yeah, it's not my first giveaway, lads, to be fair. So we'll reply with that. And then that is basically done. And I'll sort all that out. Sorry, when the off stream, just so
we're in the Matrix. We're out of the Matrix.
We were in the Matrix for a brief time. But yeah, lads, anything else you want to sort of add to our discussion, our chat?
Just looking forward to the football. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Announce Jota.
Announce Jota. Get the pre-season on the go. Let's start seeing some balls getting kicked around and a bunch of players running around in vests and stuff like that. All the pre-season vibes, water bottles everywhere and
Quinny.
Can't wait for the new season. Pictures, and all that stuff.
Go these ones. Get yourself your favorite drink for Friday night. I've got a good feeling the main man is being announced Friday night, 6 p.m.
Wow.
I seen who was it? I seen a Celtic account tweet something like I'm a day and a time or something earlier. Where did you hear that from?
It was because every Friday at like 6 p.m. we announce something. So we've got CCV last week, Harry Kill week before was CCV. This week it could be the Argentinian lads, but this is getting ahead of myself. I want the Argentinian lad to walk out, which we all know, and right behind him in comes Jota, the double announcement. We're gonna win the league. We're gonna win the Champions League. Vinicius Sousa's coming in as well. Oh, can't wait.
It's gonna be a good year, man.
The Celtic lads have invaded the live stream.
Yeah, that's the limited stack you need.
Yeah.
Well, I was talking to Sojiwa, and he's just been back into limiteds, and he was saying he'd lined up a Celtic stack, and it was 0.9, and I thought, that sounds okay. And he's like, but then I just went and bought this Atlanta stack, and it's like every player in the team for 0.3.
Wow.
So,
Jesus.
So fair play, man. That makes a bit of sense, Yeah. But again, that's what I was thinking as well when we're talking about limiteds earlier. Is Champion Euro are quite OP to be picking up now. If you can still get some of the bargains that should take off in the new season, guys that will play can play at elite performers, but like MLS will still run for the foreseeable, and there will be some of those cards that just get lost in the realignment of the market, and some guy just goes around for £10 now all of a sudden for no real reason because 4 trades were done at £10 and now it's set in stone. But he's a £10 card for some reason. But he's really a £20 card or whatever.
And Champion Europe has the big opportunity that if the Premier League's onboarded, they'll just rocket in value as everyone's trying to win more Prem cards.
Yeah.
That's what I've gone hard on now. And the transfer risks, they're just very minimal. If you're buying top players at top clubs, there's no risk. So
other than Saudi Arabia. The last bastion. It's the last it's the last frontier of SO5 where we need to take out any possibility of transfers being rotten.
If Pedri moves to Saudi, I don't know what I'll do with myself.
I've seen Furuhashi to Cardiff rumours, lads.
Oh, that was a terrible rumour somebody put on my stream earlier.
Okay.
Was that you? Was that somebody came into my stream earlier? Was that Furuhashi to? Was that you?
No, it was on Twitter. Some Korean or Japanese source said it.
Nah, bullshit.
Definitely. He wants to link up with Bale and Rambo. He wants to play with real players. He don't want to play with no fake players at Celtic.
It'll be like Keigo Furuhashi or something like that. It's not Keigo.
The wrong one.
Yeah, like Keigo or something.
His long lost brother or something. Okay, well, we'll probably end it there, lads. Yeah, really do appreciate everyone for watching for so long. We've been going hour and 35 now, to be fair. This comes in. If you could leave a like on the stream, lads, I do honestly really appreciate it. Go check out Simply Alex's YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Quinny, we know the drill with Quinny. You should know him by now. Otherwise, you've just been living under a rock. But yeah, boys are always posting. Yeah, lads, if you fancy this next week, maybe. I'm sure we could organise something if my cables my Wi-Fi cables are working. I'm going to go sort out that now after this, and hopefully, yeah, I'll be back online, living in the real virtual world again. But yeah, lads, been a pleasure. Thank you for joining me, boys.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, of course, no, it's been a pleasure. Really enjoyed it. Yeah, lads, thank you all for watching, and yeah, we shall see you probably next Thursday. All the best, lads. See you in a bit.